Hey you guys, the Lord is telling me to share this video with someone. I'm not really sure who. I just really want to be obedient. I don't want to make it seem like it's so simple or so this or that. And he told me to record. I had to wait till I came back in the car because I had to run in the store real quick and get something before I get back on the road. So the Lord is saying in my spirit for someone, I know we have talked about this before, and I'm going to make this quick, but he's saying for someone, it is the simple things that matter. It's the little things that matter. And the scripture that came to me for you is, it's the little foxes that spoils the vine. And he want me to tell you guys just a few of like some small things, but could have been big things if they would have went another way. And he's saying, do this video for somebody. So I'm like, okay, Lord. So, where do I start? Because there's a lot of things I could share, but I'm just try to start with just a few things and end it there. So I'll start with this morning. So this morning I took the kids to school. You guys know Fridays is 6 kids, 4 different schools, 3 different cities or whatever. And then it's my son and my niece mostly throughout the week, and then my other nieces and nephews on Fridays. So that's cool. That's normal for me. So after that I had to work on some business stuff. So I went there. And, you know, I didn't really see anyone that I knew too much because I stayed downstairs today instead of going upstairs. But I saw someone that works there, and we talked or whatever. And they were telling me like about their birthday. They went skydiving and like just all these different things and how it made them feel. And I was telling them, yeah, you look so happy on this picture and everything like that. So as I was working on my business, of just small chatting with them before I left. And they was like, okay, see you next week. And I was like, okay, see you next week. And I left or whatever so I can come out before I go back where I have to go, whatever. So I was like, I need to get some food because I hadn't eaten yet. I was gonna eat breakfast. I love Chick-fil-A breakfast for like years now. If I don't cook, I'll just warm me up something out the fridge, or I'll just go to Chick-fil-A. Like, I love their breakfast, so I usually go get a bowl. But this morning I didn't get a bowl because I was in the middle of working on my stuff, so I didn't have time to go. So the Lord kept showing me this place that me and my mom go, because sometimes I'd be like, Lord, where should I go to eat? You know, like depending on my mood, or if I like don't really know, but I know I need to get something. I'm like, where should I go to eat? So he had showed me this place that me and my mom usually frequent on the weekends, like when we watch our shows and stuff. But we haven't been to this place in like a month and a half. And I kind of was like missing the food there or whatever. And I know that they open up at 11 o'clock. And in fact, like it was like an hour and a half before they open. And when he had showed me this place, I was like, I'll just wait. Although I wanted to go to Chick-fil-A, I was like, I'll just wait till here. I was like, because that's not too far from where I was or whatever. Boom. So I get out and I noticed the truck or whatever. Now, I don't notice the truck, but I noticed like the color of the truck was like red, and it was like a cherry red, and it was like really pretty and everything like that. And God was like, he just kept highlighting to me, go to this place. So I'm like, okay. So I pulled on the door to go in, and it wasn't open. I'm like, okay, God, let me go around to the other door, because usually the door's open, right? And it usually is busy, and that's another reason I wanted to go when they first opened, so that I'm not waiting in a long line. Cool. So I'm like, okay, that door didn't open. So I went to the other door, and that door is not open. And now it's like 11:01. So I just kind of stood out there, and I see like the ladies, like they're prepping and everything. I see the steam coming on for the food, so they're making the food or whatever. Keep in mind, we talking about it's the simple things that matter. It could be the little things. The Lord is saying this in my spirit for somebody, because he told me I passed the test. So I'm like, amen, Lord, you know. So I'm knocking on the door, not banging on it. I'm just kind of knocking like, are y'all open today or not open? Because it says 11 or whatever. So the lady, I never seen her before coming here, because I told you me and my mom come here, and I'm used to seeing certain people, but I've never seen her before. It doesn't mean she have never been working here like that before, but I'm just not used to seeing her. So she looked frustrated. She looked annoyed. She was just like, had an attitude, like she was rolling her eyes and everything. And I could not hear her, what she was saying, because she had a mask over her mouth. I had a mask over mine, but I pulled mine down or whatever. And she was all the way in the back of the kitchen. Well, I could kind of hear her, but not hear her, like over the steam. And then the other person was like cleaning, and like they was prepping, and like I was hearing like the spoons and everything, like against the pans and stuff. So I'm like, okay. So, and it like it was just only them two in there or whatever. So I couldn't hear her. Like I just see she was moving her head up and down, and like flapping her gums or whatever, but I couldn't hear her. So I'm looking like, okay, Lord. So I had to talk to the Lord for a minute. So I was like, I cannot hear you. I was like, are you guys open or not? Because it seemed like she could hear me, but I could not hear her. But I could just see like her gestures, you know, with her body language or whatever. So I was like, I cannot hear you. Come to this door. Like, come to the door. Because the way she was moving like she was ready to fight or something. And the Lord has delivered me from like having a really bad temper when I was not saved. My family would tell you like, he had to really deliver me from like that anger and temper. And it's not me saying I'll do this to a person, that to a person, but like if I felt disrespected or threatened or anything, like, no, you're not finna do that with me or whatever like that. So it's like there was a, ooh, don't go out because you about to get hit. Oh, she didn't go out. Okay. It's like there was a she going the wrong way. I'm sorry guys, this girl is backing up and she going on a one way, but she going the wrong way, so she's gonna hit incoming traffic. Okay, so anyway, that was a moment to actually like bless that lady. So the Lord was like, Rakera, don't even let it get to you. So I'm like, it's not getting to me, but it was just a principle, because like if y'all not open, even though I said 11 o'clock and y'all not open, you can just say we're not open, or you can just say we're doing this or we're doing that, because I could leave and go somewhere else, or I'll just wait because that's how bad I wanted the food. I would have waited for that food. So I was like, come to the door because I can't hear you, because I said that after I asked her who's the manager, and she had pointed to herself and rolled her eyes, so she could hear me, but I really couldn't hear what she was saying. And I was like, no, there's a manager over you. Who is that? Or I'm gonna call corporate or whatever, because I didn't appreciate her attitude. So like when I said that, and I was like, come to the door, like to talk to me so I can hear you, because I couldn't hear what she was saying. And I kept reiterating that to her. I kept saying, ma'am, I cannot hear you. I was like, I cannot hear you, because she was talking through the mask and she was talking low. So like when I was asking who the manager, and she pointed, that's how I knew she was the manager, but that could have even been a lie. Because then when she came to the door, she like her guard kind of like calmed down or whatever, and I was looking at her eyes, and I was like, I'm asking you a question. When she opened the door, I was like, I'm asking you a question if y'all are open or not. I was like, it is not that serious. I was like, I don't appreciate you doing all of that. So then she had calmed down, and she was like, she calmed down, but then she started huffing again. And mind you, I'm not talking to her upset or loud or nothing, because the Lord had told me, you know, or whatever. So I was like, I don't appreciate you doing all that. I said, and you the manager? So then she had like was huffing, and she was like, we're not ready yet. She was like, it's going to take 15-20 minutes. So then I had scratched my hand. I said, well, that's all you had to say. I said, you need to take a deep breath and calm down. And then I had smiled at her. And then she had started laughing, and she wanted to bust out crying. So then I was like, I said, I couldn't hear you from back there. I said, because with all that noise with the pots and pans, I said, she cleaning. I said, you talking through the mask. I said, I couldn't hear you like that. I said, so I was just going based off your expressions. And then she had really like humbled herself, and she was like, I'm so sorry. She was like, you're right. She was like, it does say we open at 11. I said, I know. I said, because me and my mom come here, you know. She was like, we open. She said, but she said they had a system issue like with the payments, where the payments went down yesterday, so they're trying to fix that today. She was like, and then something broke in the back. She was like, and we're just trying to fix it. And she just looked like she wanted to cry. So I had just like, I didn't give her a hug, but kind of like in the gesture, like I didn't give her a hug, but I like in the gesture, like it's okay. And I told her, I said, you need to breathe. So we both started laughing, and she would start breathing or whatever. And she was like, I'm so sorry. She was like, you are more than welcome to come in and wait. She was like, because I don't know exactly what you want to order. She was like, the food is almost done. She was like, we're just trying to get those things ready. I said, I understand that. I said, but as a manager, I said, you have to know how to communicate that to people. I said, because I really could not hear you, you know, through the glass. She could hear me. I said, but I couldn't hear you. And I said, you were talking through that mask. And, you know, I also had wanted to tell her, but the Lord didn't tell me to tell her this, but I also wanted to tell her, if he would have gave me a green light, you guys should put up a sign, you know, like it's a delay. We're open, but we're not open yet. You know, it's going to be 15-20 minutes. And like, she had really wanted me to come in there with her when she saw like, okay, calm down, like, you know, it's serious, but it's not that serious. And then the Lord was also showing to me in my spirit, because when I got back in the car, I had prayed for her. The Lord's also showing me in my spirit that she's dealing with a lot of things at home. So she's dealing with a lot of things at home. She's dealing with a lot of things at the job. Usually there's a lot of people in this place like that come, you know, eat food from this place, you know, and now I had only seen her and the other lady. And then the other lady was looking crazy. So I'm looking at the other lady like, what's good? You know, and then when she saw like that the lady was wrong or whatever, because I don't know if she could hear me, but the other lady could hear me, because she was going in and out cleaning. This was only in a matter of minutes, what I'm telling you guys. Then she like was looking at the lady like, oh, like you were the one that was wrong, not the customer. So she kept saying again, she was like, no, she was like, it's okay. She was like, you can come in here. She said, you can come in here and wait. And I said, no, it's okay. I said, I may come back. I said, I'm going to just run to the store real quick. I may come back this way. And I had smiled at her. I was like, and you're going to have a good day, okay? And she started laughing, and she was like, thank you so much. God bless you. And I was like, no, God bless you too. So I had came to the car, and I was like, Father God, I was like, what was that all about? Because I've had my share of tests and different things, big, small, Sometimes I didn't pass them, right? Sometimes I did pass them. He said, you passed the test. I said, so Lord, you sent me here knowing I wanted these people food just for a test to be a light. He said, yes, ma'am, I did. And I could go back and get some food. I may actually go back there and get some food order because I know what I want. But then I'm like, now I want my seafood. So I don't know, but that could have been the test for her. Another thing, when I dropped one of the kids off this morning at their daycare, so I don't know that specific teacher like that. I just usually just do the drop off for them when I take them on these days or whatever. And I don't know her personally like that, but my family know her or whatever. So the Lord has showed me even before I went to take my nephew, my baby nephew. He like one of the youngest ones there, because usually I'll take his siblings. I'll take him first and I'll take his siblings to their school. They have a different school. But this morning, the Lord was like, no, take them to the school and then you're going to take him to his school. So I was like, okay, Lord, that sounds kind of backwards, but you told me to do it. So I was like, I'm going to take y'all to school first. Y'all going to get your breakfast and y'all go to school. And then I'm going to take him to school, because usually my older niece, she'll get out and take him. She like 13, 14, 12 or whatever. She'll get out and take him. But the Lord was like, no, you take him. So I was like, okay, I'll take him. But when we were coming up that way, the Lord had showed me her face, the sitter. This is her business though. The sitter and her husband, he said, pray for them. And I did. So usually like, cause I have taken him like maybe once or twice to her before, but it's usually just pass the bag, pass him, have a good day, good morning, like that. So this morning, she had opened the door and she looked so flustered. And that's the same way that I had saw her way before I even took the kids to school. So I'm like, okay, Lord, that's why you had me to pray for her and her husband. So this morning I was giving her my nephew. I had gave him his kiss and I was like, you gonna have a good day at school? He was just looking like nothing or whatever, because he like a baby. So I gave him a kiss. I had his bottles in his backpack or whatever. And then I had, before I knocked on the door, because usually before I knock on the door, she'll open the door. But today I knocked on the door, then she opened it. She opened it after, because usually she'll have the door open. The Lord keeps saying to me to reiterate, it's the simple thing. So then she had opened the door, and the same, like I told you, the same way that I had saw her when God told me to pray for her, that's how she looked in real life when I saw her this morning. So she was like, hey, good morning. I was like, good morning. So then I was passing her my nephew and his bag and his cups and everything like that. And she just looked at like just flustered or whatever. And then I was saying to her, I said, and I was just going to say, thank you, have a good day and go back to my car and go do what I had to do. But the Lord said to her, no, I want you to tell her that you prayed for her this morning. So I'm like, okay, Lord. So I had said it to her. I had kind of like stepped back up and I was like, I just want you to know, like this morning, the Lord had showed me you and your husband. And he said to pray for you guys. And I didn't even fully know like if she was married or not. I didn't know that. So she was like, thank you so much. She was like just talking to me like she really appreciated it. And she was just talking to me. And we didn't make it long because, she had to get back to the kids and stuff and everything. Y'all are going out the wrong way. I'm sorry, guys. These people are going out the wrong way on the one way. This like the second person that did that. Like, that is very dangerous. Like, she about to hit a whole freight truck right now. So let me finish up, guys, so I can get away from them. So we were just talking for a little bit, and I wasn't really like saying too much. I was mostly listening. It was just like within a few minutes or whatever. And then she was just talking and everything, and I was just like encouraging her, and I gave her a hug. Like, she did not want to let me go. So I had pulled away, and then she had pulled me back. Like, it's like she needed that hug and she needed that encouragement, and I was just like, God loves you and he cares, and just like listening to her and smiling and talking to her. Because when I talk to people, like, I look in their eyes. I look in their eyes and I like genuinely listen to them, and I be genuinely like concerned or want to release whatever God had me to release. Or sometimes it's just to listen, and I'm like a hugger. I don't hug everybody, but when he like put on my spirit to hug somebody, I hug them, and like they genuinely can feel the love of God and God in me, because I know what that's like to need a hug and you feel broken. So God built me up over the years more and more with his love to give love to people when I hug them. So that mattered. And then when I got back in the car, the Lord was like, I would like you to go deeper in your prayer for her. So I started praying over every of her life, and I started seeing her in the spirit like she was joyful, because like when I looked in her eyes, she looked joyful, but she just looked like she was going through some things, and I could see it in her eyes, because the eyes can tell a lot. Sometimes they can't, but a lot of times they can or whatever. And so that was that, and I was like, wow, with that. And like another one I want to share, and I think I'm gonna close with this, and I'm gonna give you what I was seeing when I was in the store, when God was downloading this, before I got out of the car and when I was in the store. That it's be the simple things that matter. How God don't want you to underestimate your obedience or anything like that. Okay, so yesterday I took my son and my niece to school like usual. I took them to school. Then I went out and I spent some time with God at one of our favorite spots or whatever. So then after that, I was going to come back this way to where I usually go when I'm working on my business stuff or my laptop stuff or my writing or whatever. And God was like, no, why don't you go to the other one? So I'm like, yeah, let me go to the other one because I like that one actually better. It's just like a little drive out. So it takes me a little longer, but it's like, it's a little bit better. Even though this one is good too, but that's like my favorite one. And when I used to live on that side, I used to always go to that one or whatever. So he told me to stay there for a certain time. I really didn't feel like staying out too much there because I was a little tired, but he told me to just work on what I was working on. Then it was time for me to go get my son. So the Lord had me to leave like an extra 20 to 30 minutes early. So I was like, God, I'm really not supposed to leave until like such and such time. But he was like, no, it's okay. You know, finish up your work, use the restroom, and get in your car and just go. So I'm like, okay. So he had me leaving like a whole 20, 30 minutes early. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, but I've learned over the years to just be sensitive to his leading and his guiding or whatever like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to just go straight to my son's school, get in the parent parking lot, you know, and just wait till he come out till they dismiss them. But the Lord was like, just go to the store. And I was like, go to the store for what? And he was like, just go to the store, just pick up something, just grab something. So I'm like, okay. So during this drive, the Lord was speaking to me, just normal stuff personally for me. I was listening to my music. I was just vibing, you know, just, okay. So I'm going to the store. I'm like, I don't really know why I'm going over here because it wasn't my intention to go there and like really get anything because what we needed was like at the house that could have worked for yesterday or whatever. So I goes to the store, you guys, and I'm pulling in the grocery store, and this is another city. So the Lord, usually where I park on this road, but sometimes I'll park on the road after that because that road be really busy. So the Lord had led me up the road or whatever. It was row 5. He led me up row 5, and then I was trying to go up to the front because I like trying to get the parking spot in the front instead of walking all the way in the back. But if I got to walk in the back, from the back, that's okay because I'd be like, that's just exercise. Well, that's how I look at it or whatever. But I usually, if I can get in the front, I'll be wanting to get in the front, you know. And so this was all the way in the back. So I was like, okay, great. So he was like, don't try to get the parking spot in the front. And I was like, he never tell me that. So I was like, why I can't get no parking spot in the front? So he said, you need to reverse. So I reversed, and I'm looking like, Father God, but I'm listening to him, but I reversed, and he was like, park by this dead tree branch. So I'm like, why would I park in front of a dead tree branch? Like, I don't even want that like really by my car. And it was like a big dead tree branch, but like my wheel could go over it. So I backed up, and like I really was going to park to the one. So when I couldn't get the one in the first one, I had to reverse all the way back. Nobody was coming behind me. I was going to park in the third parking spots over, but then the Lord was like, no. So I was like, well, let me park in the second one. He was like, no, park by this tree branch. So I parked by the tree branch, you guys. Park in the tree branch, put on my mask, make sure I got my key, make sure I got my purse, make sure I turned off my AC, make sure my windows rolled out. As soon as I opened the door, the Lord said, look down. And I looked down, and it was someone's debit card. And I'm like, wow. And it was like a chip. It was a debit card or whatever. So I was like, that's why you wanted me to come here. And I'm thinking I don't really have to get nothing from here. It wasn't my intention to go. I could have easily just said, well, Lord, I'll just go there another day, and I'm going to just, go get my son from school. And it was just that simple obedience the Lord sent for someone. It's the simple things that matter. So I picked up the debit card, and that's not abnormal for me to find. Like, I'm the type of person, the Lord be having me find money. The Lord be having me find people cards, and I always return it. I always return it to like wherever I am. Like if I'm at the library or I'm at a store, like last month my niece had her birthday party at the skating rink. I had did a video for you guys and I uploaded, but they said it was copyright, so I had removed it like immediately. So it was like nobody was able to even view it because it was like copyright. And I'm like, I don't be putting them copyright claims or whatever. So I don't know why these people are driving the wrong way on this morning. So anyways, you guys, so okay, so that was that. So it was my niece's birthday. Like, it was a good birthday or whatever. And then I kept taking the kids to the bathroom, like my son and like the other kids or whatever. And then it was one time we was getting ready to go, and like I was gonna leave like just a few minutes early because everybody was wrapping up. And I said, let me just run to the bathroom really quick. And when I did, I had seen the little girl. I didn't know she was a little girl. It just said happy birthday, Millie, and then it was some money laid out. So apparently like she had washed her hands and maybe forgot. Like a lot of times ladies do that. Like I didn't found people keys, people ring, wedding ring, jewelry, like they cards, money, and I always just return it because it's a blessing on that, and that could be a test. So I had seen it, and I had I was going to give it to the person that was vacuuming, and the Lord had told me do not give it to them, like, because they had a bad attitude, not really with anybody, but I was just noticing, like, when we was dancing and stuff, like how they was interacting with people, not, as I say, like outright bad attitude with me or anything, but the Lord was like, do not give it to them. So I had gave it to the next person that I saw walking, that worked there, and I was like, I don't know, I was like, I found this in the restroom. I said, I just came out of there. I was like, please return this to the lost and found. So they were like, thank you so much for returning it. I returned the car and the money. So then, okay, so then me and my family was going out, and then I had told them, I was like, we all had a good, like, birthday party and everything. I was like, I said, I don't know. I said, I had found, and it was this little girl coming behind me, and she was just looking like she was crying, but she was happy. So I wasn't paying attention to her until she had said, oh my God, that was me. So I had told them, I was like telling everybody, like, we was talking about the party and everything like that. And then I told them, I said, I found a card, I said, in the bathroom by the sink that said, happy birthday, $1,020. So then the girl was like, oh my God, that was me. So then I turned around, because I didn't notice her before, and she was like, thank you. She was like, thank you so much. She was like, her parents had just circled back because they had left. She was like, and that, I guess, like, that card and that money meant a lot to her for her birthday. You know, and it's like, I'd be like, God, thank you, because I know a lot of people that would do that, return it, but there's a lot of people that won't. And that could be like a character integrity test too. So it'd be the simple things that matter. And like, she had wanted to give me a hug, but I was just looking like, okay, you're welcome, you know, because her parents was like waiting for her, you know, and they kind of was looking like a little bit like, who is she talking to? And I didn't want to be looking like, you know, nothing crazy or nothing like that. So I was like, you're welcome. And I was like, happy birthday. And I had smiled at her, and she was like, thank you so much. And she was like, God bless you. So then she had ran to the car. She maybe was like 11 or 12 or 13 or something like that. And then she got in the car, and her mom was like, I guess, talking to her, like asking her, like, who was that girl? I don't know if she said that's the girl that found the money or whatever. So because, like, as soon as we was walking out, she was walking out like within seconds. So I'm like, wow, Lord, like, your timing be perfect. So then going back to yesterday, so I picked up the card, and immediately, like, before I even just go to get something, because I realized he really didn't want me to just go there to get anything. It was like for that as well, and that's teach a lesson. So I went in there, and because I wasn't going to stand in the customer service line. Them Walmart lines be long with customer service, and I had to go get my son. So like, that was not my intention. So I was like, let me find a manager real quick. So I went in there, and I asked the lady that was in the front, I was like, ma'am, are you a manager, or can you point me to one? And she was like, looking like she busy. She had pointed to another lady, but then she had looked back at me, and she had smiled. She was like, you can go ask her. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, thanks. And so then I had one ask the other lady. The other lady, who was a manager, lied and said she was not a manager, because I guess she wanted to be bothered. She was like, you can just take it to customer service. So I was like, I said, I don't have time, ma'am, to stand in customer service line. I just have to go pick up my son from school. I said, the reason for this, like I told the other lady, I said, I was parking, and I found a debit card. I said, and I just want to return it just in case they come back here. And she was like, oh, you found a debit card. So, like, her whole attitude had changed towards me. I guess she thought I wanted something personal. I was just trying to return this, you know, because that was found on their premises. So she was like, oh, you found a debit card. She was like, oh, no. She was like, her thing had changed, but I had ended up going back to the other lady anyway and giving it to her. And then she said, I'm going to take this immediately to customer service for you. And she did. I was watching her. She did. And I had just prayed. Like, I got my stuff. It wasn't much. I just got something quick, because I realized the point of me, like, really going there. I cashed out, and then I had went to the car or whatever. And when I was walking, the Lord was like saying to me, good job for being obedient, even though you really didn't even feel like coming out here. And I was like, no, Lord, thank you. You feel me? Because then he had showed me that person. It was a lady. He had showed me that person. I wanted to, like, wrap it up in the paper or something. I was like, no, I'm just going to give it to them like this. I just hope they don't do nothing crazy with this card, like how some people, they get like that or whatever. And so, or whatever. So then he had showed me it was a lady. He had showed me that, like, I guess when she was getting in, she probably was getting in a hurry. And when she, like, turned on her ignition, and she probably, like, was putting the card, like, in the door, like the door handle, and it dropped. Or she probably was just getting in and, like, maybe putting in bags and it dropped. He just showed me, like, wherever she was doing, she was frantic. And, like, he had showed me that this person had their groceries and went home, and they was frantic and looking for this card and crying. And the Lord had said to my spirit, there is a big amount on this card, like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on this card. And this person need this money. And, like, had it been anyone else, like, they could have tried to do anything with that. You feel me? And I'm like, God, thank you, for just taking heed to this. And the Lord had shown me that they were going to come back there later that night, because this was early in the afternoon yesterday. They were going to come back there later that night, get that card. And the Lord had showed me that they prayed like, Lord, please let me find this card when I go back here, because they didn't know like where they dropped it, and that they got blessed back with their card. And that was restoration for them. And that could be a testimony for them to go deeper in their relationship with God, that they prayed a prayer, God gave them peace, and actually answered their prayer requests. So the Lord had me sharing these things, and there's other things I could share as well. Like when God had me do a good deed, that's between me, God, and that person, or just me and the Lord. But the Lord is saying, share these things for a reason, because the Lord is saying for somebody today, it is the simple things that matter. It is the simple things that can make a break. Many of you, the Lord has been dealing with your character development, or allowing certain things to happen to you that feel good or bad to you. But God is working that for your good, because he may be working on your character, because he know he's taking you deeper into business or ministry. And you got to be able to handle these things, because as you elevate and you grow in the Lord on different levels, it's going to elevate and grow, positive or negative. And you have to be able to handle that well. You got to be able to handle that well. The Lord, for many of you, many things that you think is like what we talked about the other day, you think it's like insignificant, and it's not. The Lord is watching you. These things that you think are small are big to God. He's paying attention to the details, like we talked about the other day. He's paying attention to the details. He's paying attention to you being obedient to him. Obedience can make or break. Obedience can unlock blessings, you guys. Obedience can unlock certain areas in your life. Obedience. It be the simple thing. Sometimes people be like, God, why I'm not here on this level yet, or why this keep happening? You're going to go through certain things until you pass certain tests. You're gonna take the same test until you pass it. It may be in a different season. It may come in a different face. It may come in a different form. But have the mentality, God, I'm going to pass this test. I'm going to elevate in you. I'm going to grow in you. I'm going to become more and more like Christ. It's not saying I'm perfect. It's not saying this flesh is not here. But I desire to become more and more like you, God. So just have your way. Make me more and more like you. There's going to be sometimes you pass the test, sometimes you fail, but the goal is to pass, right? Even with me on the road, even with me coming doing grocery shopping, people driving their buggy slow, or just the lines and just people on the road, like how it is here, like with this driving. And the Lord has been building my patience with that. Even just certain people, attitudes, they've been building my patience. Seriously. So I want to encourage someone with that today. I'm not sure who I did this video for, because I was like, God, why do I have to make a video about that? This is a way that I've been living for years. And he was like, no, he was like, it's the simple things. Even you being obedient right here is a simple thing that may bless someone else and be eye-opening for them. So I want you guys to examine as we close. I want you guys to examine, financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, in your relationships, on your job, and your business. What are some things that like a simple thing, but it could be a big thing? The way you treat people, like your relationships, business, career, your education, you being in school, you being at home, you working in your ministry, your gift, your anointing. What are some things that be like, like that is like will please the Lord, that will glorify him? How can you become more light like him? How can you use the situation to learn and grow? Because like those practical examples that I just gave y'all, all of those could have went different ways. And I want to encourage someone on here today. Do your best to be obedient to God. He will give you the grace to be obedient to him. He will give you the grace to please him. Because that obedience to God means a lot, and it will unlock a lot for you, and it will deepen your intimacy and relationship with the Lord. I know that many of you can attest to things that I'm talking about, things that I'm saying to you. And the Lord is even saying in my spirit for someone, stop. He's saying it again for someone, like we talked about on other videos. Stop letting little things bother you. Stop letting little things bother you. Stop being moved by every little thing. I know we're not perfect, you guys, but stop being moved by every little thing where you have to vindicate yourself. God is not being glorified. God's light is not shining through. Because you're going to keep taking that test until you pass it, guys. It be the little things. It be the tone of voice. It be the body posture. It be the way you say things. It be the things that you do not say. It's your character, your integrity. It's all of that. These things matter, and we will be tested, you guys. This is not nothing new, but we will be tested. So I want to encourage you, because God could be elevating you. And as the Lord is even saying this for me, for someone as well, it's like the paper sand analogy. It's like the paper sand analogy. That sandpaper, I'll be saying the words backwards. The sandpaper don't feel good when it's rubbed against what it's rubbed against, but the purpose of it is to smooth it out and make it more what it needs to become and not be so rough. right? Some people, you're rough around the edges, and God is like making you more like him, giving you more of his heart, making you more like him. The Bible talks about in Ecclesiastes 3:1, there's a time and season for everything. And it's songs, or Ecclesiastes, I think it's Song of Songs, but it talks about it's the little foxes that spoil the vine, that spoil the vineyard. So a lot of you are looking at it like it's big things, and it could be big things. But for some of you, the Lord is saying it's the small things. It be the little things. And the Lord wants you to be mindful of these things, to catch these things so that you can pass these tests and advance to your next level and fully get all that God has for you. That could even be inwardly in your mind or anything. So I'm going to close this video. You guys be blessed, and I'll see you guys the next video in some days or so. God bless.